So now we look at the different housing policies adopted by the Pakistani government since 1947. So this module looks at the housing policies from 1947 to 1970, before the arrival of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and the secession of Bangladesh. So the first housing crisis which Pakistan faced was at the time of its inception. Thousands of people migrated from India to Pakistan. This was such a big problem that Quaid-e-Azam asked the Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan to move to Lahore, where most of the refugees are coming, to directly look after the settling of these refugees. The government policy was to allocate the houses which were left by the non-Muslims, primarily non-Muslims, Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan, to the people who were coming from India. So the allotment of evacuee property became the biggest housing policy of the government in the initial years from 1947 till the 1960s. It was primarily successful, but there were also many incidents of malpractices where people who didn't have much money, which they left in India, got big plots or more than one plots or houses in Pakistan through corruption or nepotism. In the 1950s and 60s, government policy has focused on providing houses to the public sector. So the idea was that if we provide houses to the public sector, gradually other construction firms will also come into play. So the construction of houses of the public sector was also encouraged by large companies. Then a major change came when it was decided by Ayub Khan in 1958 that Islamabad is going to be the new capital. It was a gigantic project and lots of effort of the government went into setting up office buildings and houses for the federal government employees, which had to migrate or come from Karachi to Islamabad. This of course affected how the government was focused on housing. In these years, in the early 60s, government was primarily concerned about providing housing to its own employees. Then in the late 60s, as Pakistan became more wealthy or the size of the middle class increased, housing schemes, building houses became profitable. So private sector didn't need the encouragement of the government and entered the market. The government also provided some benefits so that the profit-oriented companies build houses for the people. So an example is Al-Azam builders, which were given concessional land to build high-rise buildings. Another issue which gradually became prominent was the Kachi Abadis. They grew around all the major cities. Government initially ignored them, but then there were some responses. In 1958, the government launched 2 low-income schemes to rehabilitate these slum dwellers. So both these schemes were in Karachi, the Greater Karachi Resettlement Program, which is the Korangi Township, and North Karachi Township. Both these projects were very successful. The government also planned to construct 3 lakh houses in a period of 15 years, but only 10 1,000 were constructed, and then the plan was shelved. There was also a scheme of self-help housing where plots were given at low prices to the middle income groups so they can build their own home. This was not very successful as the plots were far away from the employment opportunities, and then the housing authority demanded high standards which the middle income group cannot give. Thank you.